This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. It's Wednesday, so you know it's time for Wealth Wednesday with Foster Financial, providing you with holistic financial advice. And joining me is their Vice President, Caleb Doane. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. We're just coming off of Thanksgiving, so you know.
Yeah.
Nice and full.
Right.
So we're talking about things that people need to do for their end of year planning. And we've kind of been having this conversation every other Wednesday, and you've laid out some really good steps. So today, what are we going to discuss?
Yeah, so I was going to kind of wrap up the discussion and really talk about the last thing that I think it would be helpful for people to kind of think about before the end of the year. And that would be, as you're thinking about your New Year's resolutions for 2024, consider putting together a financial plan for yourself. So I think this is something that is very easy to kind of brush under the rug or think that you have a long time to do. But at the end of the day, if you don't allocate time towards it, typically retirement kind of sneaks up on you, and then there's less of a time horizon to be able to make changes. And so 2024 could be a really good year for somebody to prioritize putting together a financial plan.
Yeah, and really starting, like you said, at the beginning of the year and not trying to play catch up. And so can we dive deeper into holistic financial planning? What is that exactly, in case people aren't aware, between regular financial planning?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when people think about their financial plan, typically they think of the investment side of things. They think, hey, I have a 401k, I've got $1 million in it, I know I'm going to be set for retirement, I'm all set with that. But there are a lot of other pieces that impact somebody's financial plan. So there's the investment side, but there's also the tax side, there's the insurance side, there's the legal planning side. And somebody might have the investment side dialed in, but maybe that $1 million that they have saved up is all pre-tax, and maybe they're kind of kicking that can down the road, and all of a sudden they're going to get hit with a huge tax bill in retirement. And so we want to make sure that you don't just have that investment side dialed in, but that every other piece of the puzzle has a cohesive strategy for you.
Okay, I see, because they all really do work together. And so the best way for someone to really start that process of planning is getting in contact with you all to do their consultation. And during that consultation, kind of walk me through what people can expect when they come in with a new portfolio.
Yeah, exactly. When people come in, really the first meeting, I often say that there's no big financial decisions made in the first meeting. It's really just a way for us to get to know the client and identify ways that we could help them with financial planning. And then the client, of course, to get to know us and how we typically operate as a firm. And so in that first meeting, really what happens, it's relatively passive from the client's perspective. They're just kind of answering questions as we go through. I have a big list of things that I walk through, and I say, hey, do you have an HSA at work? Do you have a 401k? Do you know how much that you contribute to it? What are your financial goals? So we talk through these things. And at the end, I can kind of give people this checklist of things where I say, these are all the main items that would really apply to you in a financial plan. And a lot of times the investment side of the kind of equation is just a small piece of that list. A lot of times it's the tax side where we say, hey, we need to do some Roth conversions, or we need to do qualified charitable donations, plan for that in retirement, or whatever it might be. There's a huge list of things that we can take a look at to make sure are all working in the client's favor.
Yeah. And when you go into the Foster Financial office, you get some freshly baked cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
If that doesn't bring you in, no.
Right.
So when is the best time for people to start this step? Is it the end of the year to book their consultation or the top of the year?
Yeah, I would say reach out to us at the beginning of the year. We can get you on the calendar and schedule something. That's a really good time. It's kind of fresh beginnings, it feels like, at the beginning of the year. And it feels like people kind of, I guess, work up the ability to be able to schedule something like that. And a lot of times at the end of the year, sometimes when people's financial situations change a little bit too. So maybe they were getting a little bit of a raise, or maybe they just signed up for new group insurance at work. And so sometimes the beginning of the year can be great because you remember all of these things, you know exactly what your raise was, you have all this kind of updated financial information. That way we can work with the best stuff as we go forward.
Okay. And as people try to figure out if financial planning is right for them or not, I mean, really it's right for everyone, but I think that there may be sometimes misperceptions about what it means to them directly, how it can impact them directly, whether it be if they are at the proper age range, if they have the proper salary or the big enough amount in their investments or savings to make it count. So what would you say to kind of debunk some of those myths?
Yeah, I would say probably nearly everyone that walks through our door, we're able to help them in one way or another with their financial plan. So that could be people who are really young. That could be people who come to us. I've had people come to us and say, I put in my 2 weeks yesterday, am I going to be okay? And so there's a broad range. There are people who are just starting out with investing. They don't have anything really in the market yet. There's people that come to us that have a couple $1 million invested. And so there are people that, it's a broad range, and it will kind of determine the type of planning that we do, but typically there's planning that applies to everybody. People who have a ton of money invested, they're not really going to have an income problem in retirement. A lot of times they have a tax problem in retirement where the government's trying to take a lot from their assets. On the other end of the spectrum, there might be people that say, hey, I need to retire in 10 years, but I'm not really sure how to get there. They might have more of the income problem in retirement where we need to generate income from them. So no matter where people end up on that spectrum, there's places where we can help them out.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Caleb, for sharing about this today. And Foster Financial is here to help you with your holistic financial planning. And you can give them a call at the number below to book your complimentary consultation. And we'll be right back. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.